Hi, host Eric here. I was talking with famous people, and we're asking a poll question here. Only one of the following groups can run the world, quote unquote, be the people in power, have all the political power and the access to the coercive powers of the state apparatus. Now, is the group going to be the NTPs? Is the group going to be the NTJs? Is the group going to be the NFPs? Or is the group going to be the NFJs? We didn't have any S's, huh? We'll get
That's
some
so
S's
mean.
involved too. Well, let's do this then. Okay, so those
I
four,
feel horrible.
let's have two brackets. Okay, let's have two brackets. Let's have two winners come out of each bracket. So that's bracket one. The N, the N's. Bracket two will be the S's. We want it to be the STPs, STJs, SFPs, or SFJs. All right, so let's do bracket two first. Remember, we have to pick two. We can vote on it. All right. So we only get to choose on one thing, which is who's going to be the political rulers and possess and wield the power, the coercive power of the state. We don't get to determine what any other group ends up as second or next. We can't balance. We can't use any balancing methodologies. So, given the fact that we have to choose one, who do we pick? STPs, STJ, SFP, or SFJ? So we got either the ESTJs, ISTJs running the world. How do you think that's going to go? ESTJ is going to have, I would guess, a lot of rules. They really prioritize
Yeah.
order, I would think. But
This
on
is
the
just
other,
a horrible
it's a horrible what?
to have one type rule is just such a bad idea.
Well, I mean, it depends on the type. It depends on the type.
No,
ESTJ is
the way
cool.
it
They're
works is horrible. You need
okay.
some of every you need some of everybody up in there to balance out some stuff.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if we do. Let's find out. STJs would run the state to the ground. Why do you say that, homie? What causes the STJs to run the state into the ground? Okay. Well, my take on the STJs is they probably wouldn't do such a terrible job because, unlike the NTJs, I don't think the STJs would get attached to their principles. They'd be willing to switch something up for effectiveness. They'd prioritize effectiveness. And the only problem is, I think they would be fairly clumsy at understanding how their straight ahead rules might actually impact the world at large. So I think that would be a problem. The ISTJs would have absolutely zero new ideas. Right? Yeah, the ISTJs would just well, let's just stick with whatever they were doing before. Somebody tell me what they were doing before, and we're going to do that exact thing. And then the ESTJs would be like, um, well, let's just approach these problems one at a time as they arise, and I'll come up with a solution. And then be like, but the solution for that problem interferes with your other solution to this other problem over here, and they're totally inconsistent with each other. And the ESTJ would go like, what are these complicated details you're talking about?
I don't
uh,
think they get bogged down by the details actually.
well, I mean,
Um,
I think that's what I'm saying. They say, well, what are these unnecessary details you're talking about, right? It's like I don't think they'd want to look big picture at all. But you say that you don't
mm,
think they get bogged down in the details? I mean, I think that's what they do is they focus on the details and they don't focus big picture.
oh, okay, okay.
Let's see. So that's the STJs. What about the STPs? Do we want ESTP and ISTP to run the world? ISTP seems like a pretty good, pretty reliable fellow.
They're chill.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, homie. You just keep dreaming, homie.
I don't
Uh,
know if they'd. No, never mind.
what do you think about the STP? I don't think ESTP. I mean, Trump's ESTP, so I don't know about that. I think that they would make impulsive decisions. The ISTPs would be considerably less impulsive, but I think that they have with any in the seventh slot, they're going to have a problem coming up with creative solutions to things. And ESTP is going to be a little bit more creative, but is going to be very process oriented and probably not adhere to any sort of consistent principles in the way that an ENTP would. And, you know, be kind of just, well, let's just act on this plan, and then let's act on this plan, let's just act on this plan.
I think a little bit, like, you can almost compare, like, if you compare every type to their dual or like their activity partner, that's like almost like what they could be if they're very well developed. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta think of like an individual who's actually pretty good at the majority of their functions to even kind of consider this as being something that's
right, so
even slightly relevant.
We're not talking about a 12-year-old ESTP. We're talking about a world-weary, experienced ESP who's got his shit down. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible choice. ESTP, ISTP. Let's look at the other choices. We've got ISFP, ESFP. ISFP, ESFP. I think it'll be a fairly straightforward administration. With the ISFP, you'd be looking at somebody just sort of like, what are we doing today?
I don't know. I think an ISFP would. I think SFPs in general, we're very conflict avoidant, so that could be problematic.
Well, I mean, or you could successfully avoid conflicts.
Right. Very true. Very true. We could just be very good at avoiding. I mean, very good at navigating that. So that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the possible benefit of ESFP, ISFP rulers would be if they ruled all the countries, we probably wouldn't have any big fights. On the other hand, if you had one country where like ENTP faked being an ESFP so that they could become the ruler, then that country would take over the world. Except he'd get bored with it halfway through. He'd stop at Guatemala. He'd be like, fuck it.
Reagan was an ESFP, and I think JFK was too.
Okay, so SFPs are a possibility. And then the last choices are the SFJs, right? Did we do those ones yet?
Yeah.
No, we didn't do those. Yeah, SFJs. SFJs are going to be your ESFJ is like my ex-wife, and your ISFJ is going to be like my mom. Shit's going to be really, really well decorated. The whole country is going to be just amazing. Everything's going to be, there's going to be little signs on everything. Don't forget to smile, it'll say, or, when you reach for the stars, when you reach for the stars, then you're sure to get something or something like that. I don't know what those kind of signs.
It's something like if you reach for the stars, you land in the clouds, I think.
Oh, is that where you land? Oh, how soft.
Yeah, or like, you have to reach really far so that you land really high.
Right. Yeah. Good advice. And most well disseminated through hand-painted signage. That's the best way to get an idea across. So we'd have all of our public service announcements be exceedingly quaint and adorable. The other thing is everyone would have very carefully scheduled days. Everyone would know exactly where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, and there'd be a great deal of fussiness when changes were proposed. So
are they going to implement that into society so that so that everyone has a scheduled day?
Yeah, probably. And I can just picture the whole government throwing a little foot stomping tantrum when people were like, but hey, I got an idea. Let's change the plan now and go do this instead. No. This would be like, okay, so I'm gonna go and give it to JC's crew, the SFPs. Anybody else want to vote? Who else wants to vote on this? I'll take all the votes. I'm giving it for the S's. I'm going to give it to the SFPs. I don't want the SFJs to have it. STPs are too unpredictable. And,
I mean, an ESFP who's like really developed can look very ENTJ-ish.
right, just a little bit less prone to fancy talk, probably.
Yeah, we're more straightforward.
Yeah, usually S's tend to be, they tend not to waste time with a bunch of unnecessary big words and subtext and stuff like that. So, okay, let's move on then to the N's. So we've got Team S, the SFPs. They're rolling into this political contest, and they've got to go up against. Well, let's look at the NTPs. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to make pretty much all the right choices and make sure that everyone's cool. All right, so that's pretty much all there is to say about them. Let's go on to the next types. The NTJs, I think they do a pretty good job. I think the INTJs would do a good job of. Yeah, I think the INTJs would do a good job of putting a check on the ENTJs. Let's go handle everything, shit. You know.
See, our whole quadrant is just awesome. We're great. No, stop.
Fantastic geniocracy with NTPs. Deluging? Is that? Delegating. Delegating ideas? Yeah. Okay. Well, that would be pretty nice. The thing is, the problem with NTPs running it is.
Tommy, Team Gamma.
It would take about 25 years of me arguing with all the NTPs before I got them all convinced to go with my version of NTP in this. You know, that's the problem. Is they're gonna all want to fight with me until they're all convinced that somehow I've got the best plan. So the NTPs can rule, but they need to have me in charge of them. Otherwise, we can't really trust them. What if you get like Jon Stewart in charge or something? You don't want a statist in charge. But usually we're pretty libertarian. Okay, let's go on to the. So like I said about the NTJs, I think the INTJs would restrain the NTJs a bit, but I think that basically the NTJs would get too much shit done. I don't want rulers who get a lot of shit done. I'd much rather have rulers that sit around and squabble and don't accomplish anything all the time. Because after all, they're trying to rule you. I don't feel like being ruled particularly. So NTJs would be a fair outcome. What about the NFPs? Do we want the NFPs as our rulers? ENFP, INFP? How do we think that would look? I have a feeling like the laws would change every day, and it would depend on whether somebody had hurt feelings at that moment or not. Primarily, like there'd be strict laws against hurting people's feelings. The ENFP would go along with it because the INFP would otherwise throw a tantrum if they didn't sign it. It would be a huge welfare state.
I mean, safe zones. huge welfare state. Actually, that's pretty. Tommy, you might be right. That might be exactly what they come up with.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, somebody's hurting. We need to do something.
Right.
Let's spend $1 million on this. I think ENFP would be concerned about putting a bunch of little programs like that in place. INFP would be concerned about policing everybody's meanness. They'd say, okay, we're going to have a bunch of anti-meanness laws. You're being mean. The INFP's favorite words. You're being mean. That's my.
I actually think
it's my reductive,
really
dismissive portrayal of the INFP. I'm so sorry, INFPs. I don't know why I do that. It's because I don't know any of you, I guess. Go ahead, JC. Sorry to interrupt.
I think ENFPs could actually make really good leaders. Like they're supposed to be like the champions, like champion of a cause. I think.
Right, but the problem is they don't understand the way their cause fits in with the larger picture, and they are convinced that because they see and feel the suffering, and the suffering's real, that regardless of anything else, doing something's got to be better than doing nothing. But the problem is it's not, and oftentimes it makes the problem worse. And they don't evaluate according to the sort of like reasonable thinking based metrics. And that's why I wouldn't want an NFP as leaders. I like them. I like them fine. I don't want them making decisions because they are going to make their final judgment on that wrong idea that somebody's suffering, we got to do something. That's just my 2 cents on it. Okay, so let's go on to the last of the N's, which is the NFJs. So that's going to be ENFJ, like Abraham, and INFJ, like Nandi, if she's still here. I don't know if she is. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think that would be not a terrible group at all. NFJs would be fine, more or less. ENFJ they're going to be prone to the same problem that ENFP is prone to, frankly, except, they're just going to say, well, look, here's what we need to fix. The details, the benefit of ENFJ over ENFP is ENFJ is much more likely to say, look, if it's important to you guys that we do this in a rights respecting way, then fine, let's figure out a way to do it like that. The only thing I care about is the outcome. They're less likely to position themselves adversarially, I think, than ENFP is. So I think NFJs would be a good choice. I think ENFJ and INFJ is going to be smart. They're going to bring the brains to the operation there because ENFJ is they don't focus on that. It's just not their focus. And INFJs also have the ability to understand big picture truths that ENFJs would need their help with, I think. So who do we pick out of the NTP, NTJ, NFP, NFJ group? I'm going NTPs because we'd get the least done.
Because you're so biased.
Because we get the least done. Because we get the least done. That's why I don't believe that the rulers should be doing a bunch of shit. I don't want rulers trying to do stuff all the time, NTPs would squabble continuously and never get anything done.
Hami suggests that an ESFP leader should have a lot of NTJ advisors.
Right, well, advisory roles are not something we get to assign in this. So let's pretend for the sake of argument we went with the NFJs, okay? So who do we like better as our world leaders? The SFPs or the NFJs? I'm gonna go NFJs. I'm picking the NFJs.
I'd go with
Hami's going SFPs. I go NFJ. All right, that's two SFPs to one NFJ. Any other party want to vote?
NFJs.
You vote NFJ. Thank you, INFJ person. Listen, just because Hitler was one. Jeez, one mass murdering dictator. One mass murdering dictator doesn't spoil the whole barrel.
NFJs can be
I know
very
that for sure.
NFJs can be very influential and then lead us all wrong.
That's true. It's possible.
They get everyone on their side, and then it will be the wrong side.
But see, that's why I think you need a bunch of them, right? You need a bunch of them together to NFJ themselves with each other. You need ENFJ to go, no, that's going to make those people really unhappy. I think ENFJ is much more likely to do that and put a check on INFJ than any other type.
Yeah.
Because they have the same functions, so they understand each other, but they're in a different order, so, the only way ENFJ understands truth, really, because on a regular basis, is because of their fourth slot NI, is by because of their seventh slot NE. They don't really understand their sixth slot NE. Never mind. Anyway, but ENFJs, because they prioritize FE, they're going to be more concerned about other people's feelings. They're going to be more worried about making everybody happy, whereas INFJ is going to believe in the ultimate truth of their vision and potentially shove it down everybody's throats, but not with ENFJ there, I think. That's why I'm going ENFJ and INFJ combined. You listening to a bunch of crazy INFJs or what? Are we playing INFJ supervillains? INFJ supervillains, right. Well, Robert Mugabe wrecked Zimbabwe's economy because why? Because he engaged in massive redistributionist policies. And that just goes to show you how terrible redistribution is. Okay, any other thoughts about it? Who are our leaders? Did we settle on the SFPs? I think the SFPs won it. So FFPs are...
So that I can share it with Hami. The Gamma
Oh,
Quadra.
hell
We're gonna
no.
have
Hell no. We're going to go quadrats. Hell no. I'll give it to the...
we can have
That's the thing is
quadra.
SFPs are... They aren't... They don't step on our toes, right? So it's like, well, if INTJ is going to be the leaders, then fuck that. NTPs need to be the leaders. But we can both agree, okay, fine then. SFPs, they're harmless enough. All right. Anything else? Okay, thanks for watching Talking with Famous People.